Wow. What an experience. From a small town, South Texas country boy, to being in the presence of the leaders of the largest movement of its kind in the world. I don't know about you guys, but this is a special place. I would say it's hallowed ground because of what you have brought and what you are bringing to Relay for Life. I've been to a lot of conferences over the years throughout my career, and I've been to a lot of Relay summits and conferences recently, but I can honestly say there's never been, there's no exaggeration, never been the level of chatter and excitement on Facebook, Twitter, any feed you have about being here. Thank you for helping to provide part of what this conference is, from new attendees asking what to pack, to seasoned attendees giving advice on make sure you leave room for the Relay store, to asking what color wigs should I pack, to should I get my purple tutu in the luggage, and even, do you think I'll get to hug Pat Flynn or take a picture with Jeff Ross? You can't script that kind of stuff. It is great to be here. They've given me 20 minutes, the clock's ticking, to give you a little bit of a history of where Relay for Life has come from, where we are, and where we're going. What a great time to follow this morning. I mean, Eric did a great job of setting the bar, setting the tone for where we need to be moving forward with Relay. But we know where it started. We go back to 1985, that one purple splotch in Tacoma, Washington, where our friend Gordy ran for 24 hours, raised $27,000 for cancer research. Truly making a mark, not only on our movement, but the world. I'll steer you to the picture on the right, actually a permanent mark, as we unveiled a permanent marker for Gordy to honor him and, more, as importantly, the Relay movement in Tacoma, Washington, at the site of the Tacoma Relay. And I would encourage any of you, if you're ever in the Great Northwest, please take the opportunity to go by. It's a part of who we are and what we do. Now, if I were to move forward to 1986, you'd still see the same one purple splotch. But that was the year that our mother of Relay, Pat Flynn, joined forces with Gordy. To bring teams of friends, family, patients, associates together to walk around that track for 24 hours. Hence, Relay for Life as we know it today was born. If you fast forward to 1990, there's a few splotches going around the country now. There's some states, like my home state, that were a little behind the times and said, we're not, you're going to expect us to do what for 24 hours? We're not going to do that Relay thing. But it was starting to build and starting to grow. And if I had the 1992 map up, that was the year, actually, that the American Cancer Society took a huge risk at the time. We all thought they were a little crazy to designate Relay for Life as its signature fundraising event. Now, was that the right decision? If you look forward to 1995, yeah, now we've got 1,700 relays around the country raising about $60 or $70 million. Truly growing at a rate unprecedented. But also in 1995, something else happened, and there'll be some appreciation from that in the room, and that's when we licensed our first country outside of the United States to do Relay, and that was in the United Kingdom. Actually, it was 1995 through the Cancer Research Campaign, now Cancer Research UK, to do their first event in 1996 in Portsmouth. So, hence, the global movement began. Fast forward to 2000, well, if I were to have 1998 up, I would tell you that's the year the American Cancer Society actually changed the designation from signature fundraising event to signature activity. Again, kind of risky move. Today, we think nothing of it. But again, Relay continued to blossom. 2000, first year with 2,500 events to go over the $100 million mark. And then if you fast forward to 2005, now we're talking 4,000 relays, $300 million annually, and something special happened. I remember being in the room that year at Summit when Rule Johnson shared a real special activity going on in Iraq. And that's when some of our own military personnel from Fort Bragg, North Carolina, decided they still wanted to do relay and support their relay back home. And these soldiers, about 20% of the battalion, did relay in a setting that I can't even fathom. Truly, a movement that goes beyond borders. Think of the different communities that we have. Fast forward to 2010, our high water mark, about 5,000 relays, about $400 million. And again, you see purple countries beginning to spread around the world. And then currently, 2015, you see over 24 countries, including the United States, truly a movement that continues to grow at a very rapid pace globally. Now, this year has been rewarding, not yet on that first full year in this role, but this past spring, I had the privilege, and I want to thank the Florida Division and Puerto Rico and the California Division, Great West, New England, and Eastern for hosting me in really a coast-to-coast relay tour this year. I would say, obviously, I took it a little overboard to not stay right here at home and cover the middle of the country. But I was able to attend some great relays, starting at Florida State University, just a tremendous event. And ending, I'll mention in just a moment, but ending with an experience I'll never forget in San Juan, Puerto Rico. I know they're here. What a great experience. Met a lot of new friends, saw the passion, experienced the passion of relay firsthand. Friends that I will always have. Some of you who were a part of those divisions might see yourself, but a year I'll never forget. Now, where are we? This year, we're going to share some numbers. The season is not over. We're in the middle of the year, of our calendar year, and we're winding down our relay season. But I want to share some figures with you so you see where we are. You see the number of events, over 4,700 events in the country. Over 600 of them are campus events. And I just want to highlight where you see some of the dollars here. And you've heard we're running about 8 to 10% down year over year with revenue and people. But I want to highlight our youth, and I want to highlight our young adults, because those high school and college events will actually see an increase over 2014 in 2015. So we have to learn from them. You see the global events. Relayers are hard to count and audit. I would say between 3 and 4 million relayers around the world. You see our number of survivors. Again, we're going to project about 285 million domestically for relay. But I want us to focus on what that does. We are still the #1 peer-to-peer event of any kind, nonprofit in the United States, and something we should be proud of. And the impact that's having, we still need to focus on what can we do to bring more. We heard Eric this morning, what can we do to be creative and bring more communities into relay? But I still think we should celebrate what we're doing. And again, if you think back to that $27,000 in 1985, we've now raised over $5.65 billion through Relay for Life for the fight against cancer. And I like to use this number. I know Otis is in the room, but I actually like to compare. It has no correlation. But since the American Cancer Society's inception, that's about the number, $5.65 billion, that the American Cancer Society has funded in cancer research since its inception. Again, no correlation. I just like the number. You see, and we've also, I'm very proud, we all should be proud to be a part of an organization who's had a part of every major breakthrough in cancer research in recent history. And I'm often asking, as you are probably, are we really making a difference? Is the money I'm giving you really making a difference? Are we seeing progress? And we all have a story, but I tell it one way. In 1982, when I started my career, I still remember vividly going through a training manual. That year, we were celebrating that in the United States, we had just surpassed the 500,000 cancer survivor mark. Today, you probably know, we'll reach the 14.5 million Americans living with cancer today. I think that's progress. I think that's something we should be very proud of. I want to take a moment, if I could, to thank some corporate partners. Relay takes an army, And we know what teams mean and what sponsorships mean, but our corporate partners are so important. I'm gonna leave this up a second so you can see your favorite logos. We couldn't do it without them. These companies not only give of their hard-earned, raised money, but they more importantly support their employees, their associates, to also join teams in multiple relays in multiple states across the country. These folks are truly partners we're with, and I want to give them a kudo and shout out, and we need to continue to reach out to our corporate partners if we're going to grow in the years to come. Where are we heading? Last year at this time, I stood before you, and we had just rolled out some new enhancements to Relay. And I'll go back and say we listened to you. We reached out and said, what's it going to take? What's keeping Relay from not growing or stabilizing? And we heard two things loud and clear. One thing is it was getting more and more difficult to do Relay. And it was getting more and more difficult to recruit volunteers to do Relay. So we listened, and volunteers and staff came together, and we rolled out this past year flexible models for how Relay looks. And that doesn't mean that's the only way to do Relay, but some divisions some communities grabbed that and went with it. Others are still doing their thing and trying to figure out where they're going to go. Some of these enhancements have not been fully rolled out or fully adopted. But also our volunteer committee structure. If you've ever seen a handbook, I mean, it doesn't fit under the door. We have so many resources and so many committee positions that we looked at redesigning, revamping those committee structures, our new event leadership team, to match up with the size of events. And early on, we will have data as we continue to go, but early indicators anecdotally are a very positive response from the flexibility of how to do Relay and how to put it on. And then thirdly, I also said from the stage, and I'll say it again, we have to empower our communities. Eric said it again this morning, we have to empower our communities to make Relay whatever it is that's gonna help them to join our fight to finally get to our eventual mission. And if you wrap all this together, I believe it encourages a culture of innovation. And again, I challenge you, you've been challenged, we'll continue to challenge. We need your help. We need to know what the new ideas are, the best and brightest ideas moving forward. And then for this, we also know we rolled out this formula, and it's not gonna be a secret to anybody, with the secret formula to success of Relay. Bring people, give them a good time, they'll support our mission. They'll fund us. More importantly, they'll come back, and they'll come back next year and support us at a greater level. I want to tell a few stories and to try to emphasize what I mean by bring the people, build the fund the mission. This first is, and you'll hear from Gwinnett County tomorrow, we recognized them last night, the largest Relay event in the universe. But it doesn't happen by accident. If you think of the volume of what happens in Gwinnett County, from over 250 teams to over 5,000 participants, 1,300 survivors, I could go on, but that doesn't happen by accident. It starts with their leadership committee. And I did some research and found that when Gwinnett looks at recruiting their leadership committee, it's not just their friends and family and peers. They're looking throughout the entire community. All the community they represent, no matter what age, race, ethnicity, gender, that is the key. If you want to know the key, and we have to focus on that to make sure that we are reaching out with our committee structure to bring all people to Relay. We can't expect for our committees to look one way and for everyone else just to come on and join in. So we have to build that out. Building the fund. I mentioned San Juan, Puerto Rico. I was asked yesterday on Society Talk about describing one of the most memorable relays I went to. And this year, ending up in San Juan, Puerto Rico, one word: festival. If I expanded on that, festival that the entire country comes to expect every single year. And there's no secret, or it shouldn't be a surprise, that the relays in Puerto Rico, if you collectively add them up, they have the highest customer satisfaction scores in the country. And it was a great experience. I loved it. As I said, festival. The only problem was I couldn't understand a word they said. But I knew what they were doing. I knew what every ceremony was going through, even though it was in a different language. So again, I want to give a shout out to them. And again, If we have people have a good experience, they will come back and support us. And that leads to funding the mission. And to do that, I'd like to tell a story. Those that know me know I like to read stories. And this story is about the Olson family from Woodbury, Minnesota. Allow me to read. Growing up, Dave Olson's only experience with cancer was losing his grandfather to leukemia. That changed 15 years ago with one simple request. Dave was managing a grocery store, and the Relay Committee asked if the store would donate food for the event's concession stand. He agreed, thinking it'd be a good PR move for the store. Dave was overwhelmed when he reached the stadium where the relay was being held. He'd never experienced a relay before. He was amazed at the energy, emotion, and community spirit. But more than anything, he was surprised to see so many of his customers wearing purple relay shirts, a symbol of their survivorship. Suddenly, cancer had a face. Dave would get more involved in Relay over the next few years and even join the Hudson Events Planning Committee. When a longtime Relay volunteer convinced Dave and his wife Pam that their enthusiasm for Relay could revive their hometown event, they accepted the challenge. Dave's a very goal-oriented person and set a personal goal to raise $50,000, while 30 teams would raise an impressive $86,000. With the passion for Relay starting to settle in, Dave and Pam served as event co-chairs the following year, setting a goal to raise $100,000. Everything was on track until 3 weeks before the relay. That's when Pam heard the news. She had colon cancer. For the Olsons, the fight against cancer had just got personal. Pam's surgery was scheduled for the day before Relay. Splitting time between her hospital room and the event, Dave wanted to attend the Luminaria ceremony. He needed to feel the love and support of his Relay community, assuring him that his family wouldn't face cancer alone. Driving toward the stadium, he saw the one word he needed. The Luminaria bag simply spelled out the word, hope. Relay for Life. It allows us to provide hope and help to anyone facing cancer. It offers a place for comfort for patients, caregivers, and communities when they need a place to turn. And Relay offers us a way to fight back. You see, the Olsons have modeled this behavior as well. They've served as a resource for others. They built a compassionate community around Relay, and they provided an outlet for others to fight back. But let's not forget, when they've needed the exact same things, they've turned to their Relay. Never was that more true than this last fall, when Bridget, Dave and Pam's 19-year-old daughter, was diagnosed with Hodgkin lymphoma. Nothing prepares you to hear that your child has cancer. The Olsons were devastated that cancer was again knocking at their door. But the Olsons are fighters, and as a family, they've rallied around Bridget, and their Relay family has rallied around them, providing an incredible source of strength and comfort. At this year's Relay, Dave and Bridget shared their stories around how they've even more committed to finishing this fight. Overcome with emotion, it was sometimes hard for Bridget to go on, but her parents and their Relay family were there for support. Dave and the Olson family will continue to fight back. They know too well the impact cancer can have on a family. But with the American Cancer Society and Relay for Life, they're not in this fight alone. Fellow Relayers, let's show them how not alone they really are. My friend Dave Olson and his daughter, Bridget. Dave and Bridget, thank you for letting me be a part of your purple world. And to each and every one of you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you've done, what you're doing, and what you will do. I'm so proud to be a part of your team. Thank you so much and have a great weekend.